Hey, hi everybody. Here with Dan again, Brendan and Dan. And Dan, um, we start most of these talking about how it usually only takes 12 to 24 hours for another outrage to surface, and we were right again.
The gift that keeps on giving, my friend.
It does. It does. And the most recent, right, the one that's in the news is Donald Trump commuted the sentence of Roger Stone. Roger Stone is never going to serve a day in jail for the crimes for which he was convicted, federal crimes. We are going to talk about here, and we'll probably do this in more videos long, what the arguments you're going to hear from supporters of Donald Trump, from defenders of Donald Trump. There are going to be some arguments that you hear from them, and we want to equip you with ammunition, right, with talking points, if you will, for how you answer those arguments. Now, to understand anything that we're going to say from here on out, we have to be clear that we think we're onto why Donald Trump commuted the sentence of Roger Stone, and in all likelihood, that had to do with well, let's just call it obstructive, right? That it's linked to obstruction of justice. Because Dan, at this point, everybody knows there's an ongoing proceeding in New York, correct?
Correct. If you're Donald Trump and you want to make sure that Roger Stone does not drop a dime on you in the pending New York investigation and prosecution, one of the best ways that you make sure that happens is by dishing out a favor to your buddy Roger Stone. Mm-hmm. This is, and you can speak to this point better than I do because I don't know a thing about the criminal law, but this is, in my view, a rather textbook example of obstruction of justice.
Right. Let me lay out the elements of obstruction of justice. They're pretty simple. So you try to influence, and you're aware, right, of a proceeding. Okay, so we just hit it. New York proceeding. Everybody knows about that. That's a legal proceeding. And so was this obstruction? Well, again, obstruction is a crime of attempt. All Donald Trump had to, this is another huge misunderstanding. People say, how could he be guilty of obstruction of justice if the investigation wasn't derailed, right? If it still happened. No, it is a crime. The crime of obstruction only requires that you try to influence the outcome. So what you're going to hear from defenders of Donald Trump, right? Make sure you bookmark this in your head. You're going to hear these two arguments. Number one, they're going to say if the president does it, it's not illegal. By definition, the president can't commit a crime. We heard a very similar argument, Dan, from the president in front of the Supreme Court. You can't even investigate me for committing a crime, right? So I can't commit a crime. That's argument number one. Argument number two is going to be there is no limit on the president's authority, right? The Constitution itself says the president has the authority to issue pardons, and therefore this can't possibly be a crime.
And let's be clear, you're going to hear a lot of different arguments, variations on the two arguments that Brendan just outlined. But all of them, nearly all of them, I don't want to say all of them, but nearly all of them will distill down to one of these two things. Number one, if the president does it, it ain't illegal. This is nothing new. We heard the same thing decades ago from Richard Nixon. So this is not a new argument. The second argument that you're going to hear is the president has absolute authority under Article 2 to pardon anyone he wants to for any reason that he wants to under federal law. We're going to tell you how you respond to those two argument points.
Dan, maybe I was dreaming or hallucinating, but as the first point that the president is above the law, was it a dream, or did the Supreme Court just put that issue to bed 2 days ago?
Yeah, you know, I'm struggling to go way back into my memory banks, but I don't think I have to go back much farther than about 2 days. The United States Supreme Court said clearly and unambiguously, the president is not above the law. I don't know how it can be any more clear than that. That is an absolute categorical refutation of the first argument. In addition, though, if you want something else to say, there is this matter of the president doing a legal act for an illegal purpose. Brendan, why don't you talk about that?
Yes, that is a principle of criminal law, and you hear this defense, and frankly, Dan, it's just bogus. The argument that the president has the legal authority to do it, and therefore, there's no way that he can commit a crime by doing it. It is a well-established principle of criminal law that if you do a legal act for an illegal purpose, in fact, that's the essence. Almost any act can be characterized as a legal act if you do it in certain circumstances. Giving somebody money, there's nothing illegal about that. But if I'm doing it for a political favor, or I'm doing it because the person is a juror, so if I'm doing it for an illegal purpose, then that can be the predicate for a criminal charge. So to say that he has the legal authority, and that's all the Constitution is. The Constitution is law. I don't mean to diminish it, but it is law. So to say that he has the legal authority to pardon somebody, and therefore pardoning somebody for the purpose of obstructing justice can't possibly be a crime, ignores the legal principle that when a person does a legal act for an illegal purpose, that can be the predicate for a criminal charge.
So to recap briefly, your answers to argument number one: if the president does it, it ain't illegal. Response number one: the United States Supreme Court 2 days ago said that is incorrect. As a matter of law, that is incorrect. Response number two: the president committed a legal act, but did so for an illegal purpose. And it's well established within the criminal law that that can amount to a crime. Have we covered that one, do you think?
Yes, I think that covers that point, and that brings us to the next point. And these are related points, and I think you made that clear. The next point, the argument that you're going to hear from defenders of Donald Trump is that he has the absolute authority under Article 2 to pardon whoever he wants for whatever reason he wants. And this brings us to the point, Dan, that we've been talking about. He may get away with that politically, but I want you to share your ideas about that.
Sure. There are two responses to this one as well. The first response is a response purely on political terms. And essentially it concedes the political argument. Sure, if Donald Trump can manage to get himself reelected in November, or at the very least not kicked out of office on impeachment, then as a political matter, he's found complete cover. And so what? Because the problem with that argument is that it conflates the realm of politics with the rule of law, and they are distinct domains. The Constitution, yes, is both a legal document and a political document, but those are not perfectly overlapping Venn diagrams. So the second response to the president has absolute authority under Article 2 to do it is not so as a matter of law, that the president may be able to get away with it politically, says absolutely nothing about whether the president is liable as a matter of law. You cannot allow Trump supporters to conflate the realm of politics and the rule of law. If you do, you lose the argument. They are distinct domains and they have to be treated that way. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. And I think that's, as we're summarizing this, just to give our viewers something they can use that's really concrete, I'll summarize the first two, and if you'll re-summarize the second two. So,
sure.
As to Republican talking point number one, if the president does it, it can't be a crime. The president can't be accused of a crime or convicted of a crime. Number one, SCOTUS put that to rest 2 days ago. Okay. Number two, it can be the predicate for criminal liability when somebody does a legal act for an illegal purpose. Dan,
as to the second argument, that the president has absolute authority under Article 2 to pardon whoever he wants for whatever he wants, the answers to that are, number one, Maybe as a political matter, that is true. If the president can get himself reelected or not booted out of office on impeachment, then the president has found political cover. But that says absolutely nothing. The political argument says absolutely nothing about the president's liability as a matter of law. The world of politics and the world of law are not perfectly overlapping sets.
Excellent. So hopefully everyone, you found that useful. If you did, please remember to click like. We like that. It makes us feel good, doesn't it, Dan?
It does, yeah.
It does, yeah. Click like, subscribe, and share, and we'll be back for the next outrage.
See you next time.